When India first landed in Australia, it was all about Virat Kohli. He was on the cover, he was on talk shows, he was everywhere, it was about Kohli. By the time India leave Australia, the question that's been debated even more in Australian circles is, where in Australia can we find a Pujara? Where can we find someone who bats and bats and bats and makes triple hundreds and double hundreds? Pujara is meant to be the successor to Rahul Dravid. Virat Kohli, of course, meant to be the successor to Tendulkar. It's almost as if once they're going to continue playing in each other's shadows. But how do Pujara and Rahul Dravid stack up? We're not trying to see who's the better player. So if you're accusing me of making comparisons, don't. We're just trying to see how they were at the same stage in their career. Where can Pujara go? Where is he stronger? Where is he weaker? Where are the numbers better? And some of the numbers are really interesting. Now, across their careers, Pujara's played 68 tests. Where was Rahul Dravid after 68? A mere 140 runs more than Pujara, and he had 2 innings longer. The form Pujara is in, he'd probably catch up in that much. But you always want to look home and away, don't you? Who's been the better player at home? Who's been the better player away? Let's look at the numbers. Rahul Dravid overall away 58.49 at that stage. Pujara 41. That's the difference. Outside Asia, the numbers are a little more stark because Rahul Dravid averages 60, Pujara averages 36. So the numbers start to change a little bit. But here's something interesting. As they grow along, let's see how they went to 1,000 runs, 2,000 runs, and then the interesting thing starts. 3,000 runs, 67 innings for both. 4,000 runs, 84 innings for both. 5,000 runs, 108 innings for both. It's almost as if there are footsteps in the sand and Pujara saying, which one of those are Rahul Dravid's? Right, I'll go and put my feet in the footsteps that Rahul Dravid has left behind. That was wonderful. Now, we also look at Sena Tour. South Africa, England, New Zealand, Australia. First leg versus second leg was always a learning curve. Now, look at where Rahul Dravid is. 1996 to 2000, he averaged 51 in spite of a very ordinary first tour to Australia in 99, where he said he was almost obsessed with the idea of doing well. What's Pujara like? 29.41. Touring was starting to get a little difficult. But Dravid moved from 51 to 65 in his second round. Pujara moved from 29 to 45. Remember, he had the handicap to overcome. So 29 to 45. What does it tell you? It tells you that Pujara is a very smart player and he's learning very quickly. They've both had parts to play in overseas wins. But before we end, here's just a little oddity. Rahul Dravid bowled how many times in his career? I often wonder towards the end of his career why Rahul Dravid is getting bowled so often. 21.65% of his dismissals were bowled. What about Pujara? For a long time we thought Pujara plays well and suddenly gets bowled. Pujara, 19.81%. It's almost there. And of course, something you mustn't look at. Rahul Dravid run out 11 times, Pujara run out 8 times. So what is it telling us? It's telling us they have similar approaches. I'd love to do a study on strike rates one day. Dravid probably had a few more shots than Pujara. Pujara's role is a little bit different. But I'll tell you what else they have in common. Very similar individuals, very dignified, very down to earth, and very hard working. So maybe the comparison should be about the kind of people they are as much as about the batsmen they have become. All I would say in passing is it was wonderful to be part of the Rahul Dravid era. It's just as fun being part of the Pujara era.